Hello, Maritime Zone friends. I'm getting blinded. Hello, Maritime Zone friends. It's Matt here today, bringing you another gardening vlog. It has been a while. We have some things to update you on. We have some harvesting to do, some weeding to do, and some updates to check. So we're going to go around the garden today. We're going to get some stuff. It's a beautiful sunny day, so let's go and enjoy the sun together. Without further ado, grab your covers and settle in. It's been quite a while since we've done one of these, to be honest with you, and it's because not a lot's been happening. We have been mostly waiting for things to grow, and things are finally happening, so I actually have some things to show you today. There's maybe one or two new little things around the garden, but for the most part, it's things you've seen before, things we've been planting on previous episodes of these vlogs. And today is harvest day. We're going to go around and check on a few things. We need to see how the carrots are doing. We have a couple of peppers we might be able to get, some tomatoes we need to harvest. So we're going to go around the garden today and we're going to have a look at what's been growing, what hasn't been working, because we've had a couple of things gone on since you would have last seen me, so we're going to do some updates and some things that happened. So let's start around in the garden, go and have a look at like some things we've already done, and then we're going to go around and we're going to do some weeding, we're going to do some harvesting, and you guys can come with me for the first main harvest. I'm so excited. Let's go! I think we should start here with this minor success slash minor failure. That's our broccolis. These are actually completely done. You might notice there's no broccolis on these anymore, and that's because I already cut them off. I will put a picture of the one I cut off from probably this side, I think it was. So you can have a look what they look like. But we have had a number of issues with these broccolis. There was a little bit of damage on these, which you might be able to see. Some of it has been quite eaten and rather purplish, and a lot of this might be because now I've stopped watering these because there's nothing else to come off of these plants now, but this was happening before this even started to like be not watered anymore. And I think the problem was we had some aphids. We had a lot of problems with aphids at one point, and we ended up getting some neem oil and spraying the plants, and they went away, and that was great. But I think we waited a little bit too long to do that, and most of the leaves at that point had been eaten or had fallen off. They were going like a lot of this kind of colour you see, like the purplish and the browns, and a lot of the leaves had fallen off, so there wasn't a lot to go on. And as we have a look over here, this one was planted at the same time, and this one has not got very many leaves left at all. This one I don't think is going to grow any more than it did. I think we had an issue with bolting. So if you don't know what bolting is, it's essentially where things go to flower too soon, I think is essentially what it is. So what happened was these ones had started to grow, and they were looking like they were going to go like okay and start getting a little bit bigger, and then they started to grow little yellow flowers on them, and once they start to flower they're almost inedible past that point. So I thought hopefully I can get them in time. I cut them off. I tried the two broccolis here. The first one was okay. I roasted it in the oven with some salt and pepper and they came out really nicely. The second lot I did with some garlic butter and put it in some pasta, and it was really woody and bitter and not nice at all. So I think it had gone a little bit too far with the bolting, but we cut it off at an angle here. You can see like it's supposed to stop it from like the water getting stuck in the stem, but there's been no side shoots, nothing like that, so nothing else we can get off these plants. So we're probably going to rip these up today, and to be honest I think this guy needs to come up as well. I think he's done. This one ended up being kind of a sacrifice anyway because all the leaves were getting eaten, so I think this one's probably done for as well. We do have one other chance. This guy has its own problems. I'm gonna have to get some more neem oil out. You might be able to see there's a lot of holes in this, and bug warning, if you don't like bugs, look away now. We've got lots of these little men, little wiggly guys that I'm pretty sure are maybe cabbage moth babies. So we have a big problem with that. So we're gonna have to get them sorted soon. Hopefully neem oil will do the job with that, but we still have quite a lot of leaf left. Hopefully it's enough. This year they've not been the most successful. I think it got too hot. Where they are right now, it's just maybe the sun came over, they got too hot, and they bolted really quickly. So not my best work, but it was very much trial and error this year, as we said. So learning process has been done. Next year is hopefully going to be more successful. As I say, no side shoots of any kind for these, so I think these are pretty much done now. So we'll get these up and we'll use the soil again for something else next season. This guy here, as I say, he's there, but he hasn't grown in a long time, and I think he's probably done. So all learning done for next year. We will learn, we will adapt, and hopefully next year we'll have a very tasty broccoli crop. Now we've come over to the back of the garden here to have a look at our rather sad looking potatoes. And I say sad looking because this side is not too bad, But this side was kind of ravaged, I'm not gonna lie. You might notice in there some little blue pellets. If I can get real deep in there, you can have a look at them. Those are slug pellets and snail pellets, because these were doing really, really well. You can see how like flourishing leafy these are. But then I started noticing them getting eaten more and more each day, and it took me about 2 weeks to catch the culprit. I was out here at about 9:30 at night, came out here to water really late because it had been such a hot day. I waited until it was cooler, and I came in here and there were 3 slugs this big. I'm not even joking, they were freaking huge. And then there was one snail who was up here on one of these ones over here. You can probably see the damage done over here. So we gave them a new home, which is basically the other end of the garden. We threw them away and we made them leave. They were very forcefully evicted, and we've put some slug pellets in, and since we've done that I haven't seen them get any worse. If anything, I'm hoping I'm seeing some new growth, like this one especially. You can see that's like greener leaves as opposed to some of the dry stuff that's been eaten, so hopefully we saved them. I think we probably have another month or so before we'll do any harvesting on these, but if they grow any taller then I guess we'll earth up one more time. These have been earthed up again since you last saw it. It's been earthed up twice properly at this point. I guess once these start to die back we will know that it's harvesting time, so we'll probably have to get those in another video. Not time to get those today. We have lots of other things in the garden growing. We've got tomatoes and mini sweet corns in there. And speaking of, while I'm over here actually, let's have a quick look at something which I'm surprised by. Let me see if I can zoom in on the right spot for you here. So those little guys in there are our Swedes, and for the most part these plants completely died off, but we seem to have a couple of surviving plants in here and I'm very surprised. A large part of this issue, you might be able to see like how bad this looks right now. It's because there was too much weight in it and it collapsed. You see the bottom of it here is actually completely broken through. But we have 2 in there that are actually showing signs of having something in there. I have no idea if this is actually going to be a full fruit, if it's gone woody or bitter, if the roots are split. I have no idea. We might be able to dig one of those out at some point. But in here you see we have a lot of tomatoes and they are absolutely thriving. This thing is humongous. Goes all the way up there and you can see the tops of the sweet corns there, and we even have tomatoes coming through over here as well. So this is my dad's tomato plant. We have plenty of these. We have a whole bunch of them in the kitchen that we have to cook with. A couple of successes, a couple of not so successful things, but overall it's been a good learning experience. And I think if we were to do this thing again, we need to structure it a little bit better and then hopefully it won't fall through. But for the most part, I'm surprised that we have 2 surviving Swedes in there, and hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit of a harvest at some point and pull one of them out together. We can see whether or not they actually fruited. Moving out to the back of the garden there, you'll see we have one little guy. Look at this man doing his absolute best. These are our sunflowers. They're not very big, I'll say that much. He's very, very pretty, but definitely did not get as big as I anticipated them getting. They're very sweet though. They're doing their best, living their best lives. But we do need to get in here because I did this whole back section, which I was going to film, but ended up being a whole ordeal, so we didn't end up filming it. But we have a couple of our plants back here. This one over here is going to turn orange once it starts turning autumn and winter. And this one you can see has got some purple and greens in there. That's going to go a really deep purple when the season changes. But as you might be able to see, there's a few little guys around here that aren't supposed to be here. So we're going to get some gloves on in a bit and go and dig some of these out. These guys were here when we moved in and they got absolutely rampant. That's why we've been trying to tear them out, because I mean you see some back there. They're just coming through everywhere at the moment. Some of them like coming through the bottom here. They take over everything. So we're trying to pull them out when we can. But this guy here, spiky guy, we believe this is a thistle, so we need to be careful of him because he's very, very spiky. We have one of those over there, and I'll show you that in a bit. We'll have a proper look at that in a moment, but this guy needs to come out, so we need to dig him out. I'm going to have to get some gloves that are like thorn proof and get that guy out. And over this way we have past our little sunflower guy. A couple more little shrubby things. We have a heather plant. We have who I called Bram because he was very Dracula-like, so Bram for Bram Stoker. We have a couple of other little plants. This guy back here completely died. There's no trace of it at all anymore. And this one here, this was green with tiny little white flowers, and it flowered for the first time when I planted them in here, and then immediately died. So I don't know what I did, but it went away. We have some other things here, some like taller things, which hopefully when the season changes aren't going to die completely. Another heather plant. And Albion white spire, and I call it Albion because it reminded me of the spire from Fable. But then we have some oxeye daisies, interspersed with some more of these guys who need to come out. You can come out right now. How dare you? This is my oxeye daisy patch. You're not allowed to be there. This guy's a weed. We need to get rid of him as well. But I thought these were going to die. They've been in my kitchen for a long time. These are supposed to be really, really big. They're probably going to get up to about this tall. So hopefully, given them a couple of seasons, they might grow bigger. Hoping they don't die from the winter. I guess we'll have to find out. But they are going better than I thought they would, because when I first transferred them, they almost died. But I'm hoping that was just a shock. We're keeping them well watered now, and they seem to be doing okay. I think they're coming back, so I think we should be alright on that. But speaking of, though, our little thistles, let me go and show you the issue that we're having over here. So this is our beautiful aster garden. The asters are absolutely thriving. They're much, much bigger than I thought that they were ever going to be. I thought they were going to be like a third of this size, but we've got all sorts of beautiful pinks and purples and peaches, and they're just absolutely glorious. We had a big issue, and I'll show a picture how tall this thing was. It went all the way up there. We had one massive weed. That's why there's a huge gap in here right now, because we had to dig that thing out. It took us so long, but we dug it out and we got that sorted. That's why it's looking a little sorry for itself on this side. But over here, I thought this was my delphinium, because this is exactly where I planted it. And then the more it grew, the spikier it got. And it's kind of huge now. And if we have a look here at these these ones right here, these little fluffy purple flowers, I'm pretty sure this is a thistle. I was told by a family member who came around and had a look and went, that's not a delphinium, that's a thistle. So we have a couple of those. There's another one back here that's growing out from there, and I'm seeing some of the same ones back there. So I have a feeling we need to dig this out, but it's so big. Honestly, I kind of just wanted to see it flower, to see what would happen. And now that I've let it do that, it's gone so big, I don't know how to get this out without hurting myself, so I guess we'll figure that one out. But we have some of these asters cut and put inside the house right now, and it's absolutely stunning colours. On camera, this one definitely looks more purple, but in person it's very much a bluish purple, compared to this one down here that's like a very, very vibrant purple, and then you peachy pinks. It's very, very cute. So the asters have done fantastically. My climbers are kind of struggling a little bit, like the black-eyed Susans and the morning glories are. They're having a bit of a time of it right now. I think I overcrowded this way too much. So something learned for next season. Definitely going to be putting less in here. I don't know if these asters are going to come back next season or if they're annuals. I need to have another look into that. But if they are annuals and we need to replant, I would definitely putting less in this. The asters, as I say, are stunning, but they're so much bigger than I thought they would be, and it ended up drowning out so much of the other stuff that it just became a problem. So this guy we're going to have to rip out. That's going to be a whole ordeal. I mean, we had some success. Look at these guys. Look how pretty these guys are. Eee. I love them. While we're over here, we might as well have a look at the Three Sisters garden here, which honestly I think is thriving. It's doing really, really well. I'm not expecting this to produce a humongous harvest this year, but we do have a lot of little doers in there. You might be able to see some beans that are maturing right now, and corn, very, very tall. You might be able to see we have a few guys in here. Not sure exactly when these are going to be ready to harvest. I need to look into that, but I think they probably have a little bit longer to go. But these have been doing really, really well. As I hoped would happen, the beans have been climbing this sweet corn. You can see in here, let me get this big one here out the way so you can have a look here. If you see the way it's climbing up and around this sweet corn, it's exactly what we wanted. We have lots of corn in here. Even if I just pull this back here, you can see we've got one there, one back there, we have one over here. So these are going very, very strong. And if I get my hands in here to have a look at these beans, we can see the colour of these. If I can get one in the light so you can see it really well there. It's this beautiful purplish colour, and that's how we know it's maturing. And what we'll be doing with those is leaving them on there until they start to dry. I have some beans I've already picked inside, so we can have a look at those in a minute. Let's continue looking around outside first, see if we have any. Oh, I think we might have one in here that's ready to harvest. Do you see this guy all the way back here? So if I can get this in the light here, you can see it's a bit of a darker purple and a little bit brown. And it's going really dry. It might not quite be ready yet. We might leave that a little bit longer, but one thing that I learned about how to tell whether or not it's ready to go or not is not only if it's dry, but also if you can hear the beans shaking around in there. When you shake it, if you hear them rattling, you know it's ready to go. So those aren't quite ready to go, but we're very close. But one thing that we are ready to do here actually, which I'm hoping I can get sorted, if I can dig in here, you can see this yellow flower down here. This is our squash flower. Now I have to be careful because these leaves on the undersides are a little bit spiky. What you might be able to tell underneath the flower, this little piece in here, that looks like a tiny little butternut squash. That's how you know this is a female flower. And the little orange bit inside is what we would need to pollinate with. And what I think I have over on my other plant, my dog's outside, you might get a glimpse of her in a bit. All the way over there, I have another squash plant. And we might have a male flower on that one, so we might be able to hand pollinate those, because I don't think I've seen any fruit yet on this plant. We've had a few different flowers and heads underneath it. And you can see it's grown all the way along this side here. So we have one plant over there that's growing all the way along. And we have one plant over there, and I'm not sure that one's grown too far. But we have a little bit down now on the floor where it's extending, and it's more on the back as well. So it's going strong, it's getting nice and big, it's trailing around exactly as I wanted it to do, but not yet seen any beginnings of any fruit. So what we're going to do, let's go take a little walk over here, shall we? Taking a look at all of our trees. We have our cherry tree, our pear tree, and our peach tree, and a dog. Hello, Callie. Say hello to the people. Yes, you're my little sunbather, aren't you? You've come out here to enjoy the sun. Look at this child. Oh, the big yawn. Good job. Are you going to help me with my video? Yes. My beautiful assistant over here is going to go and have a sunbathe. Well, we have a look in here. This is our second squash plant. So this is one I planted a little bit later, and I wanted to keep it on its own. And we do have a flower in here, and I wanted to check this because I believe this one is a male flower. You'll know it's a male flower because underneath, you see here, there is no small squash, it's just stem. And this is what I learned from watching Red Leaf Ranch. Shout out to them on Instagram, by the way, because I get a lot of my information from them. But we have an open male flower and an open female flower. So what we might try to do today is we might try and hand pollinate and see if we can get any of that to work. We do have a few bees and things around the garden, but I want to make sure that we definitely get some hand pollination as well if we can. I'm zooming in on my bestie up here. Look at her. Look at this creature in her natural habitat, the sun. So yeah, what we'll do is I'll grab a small pair of scissors and I'm going to try and do what Red Leaf Ranch did in his video, which was basically taking the little like flower petals and the bits off around the outside to keep the stamen. I think that's what it's called. I don't know my plant terms very well, but we'll cut that off of there and we'll tickle that little flower in there and see if we can't get it to pollinate. Look at this child. And if anybody was curious, by the way, this is how this is all going. This is basically all stuff planted by my parents. We have a calais in there. You already see his back there. This guy is flowering really big. And we have a couple of roses. That's another calais. Satine, our rouge, a puppy, enjoying her best life. We have another rose here, and this one over here is Rhonda. She's a rhododendron, and I accidentally kept calling it a rhododendron. That's what she's called, Rhonda. We also do actually have some little bits of peppers. So this tiny little guy over here, and there's one all the way over there as well. We're going to have a look at in a second. I did not expect these to actually produce any fruit this season because the plant is so small. We actually have a really good sized pepper, and it's almost the size of the entire plant. And this is our other pepper plant over here. We've got some flowers on this one, so this one is bigger than the other one by quite a bit, but this one's actually taken much longer to produce some fruit. And we have a couple of little guys inside here. We'll go and have a look at the one outside the front of the house in a bit. That one is doing so well. And before I forget, here are the beans, the ones I've already taken out. There's only one in here which is a really dark purple, which is so funny to me. I don't know why only one of them is purple, but the rest of them are white with these little spotted purple bits on them. They are very pretty as far as beans go. And I do have a little video that I took of shelling one of these. None of them are ready to do today, so we're not going to be able to do any live, but I can show you the video that we had before. Please excuse the mess in the kitchen, but we have a friend. She's following. And she's gone. I've been leaving them out just on the windowsill, and they're starting to shrivel a little bit, which is what I think they're supposed to do when they dry. They are not going mouldy, so I think we're good. I'm probably just going to try and make some casseroles, maybe some enchiladas. I don't know. What do you guys do with your borlotti beans? Let me know, and then we can make a meal together or something. But we have several more pods growing at the moment. None of them are ready to collect today, but they are going to go in with the collection later. I think the next best place for us to go is going to be honestly here, which is our salad bowl, which honestly you might see here already there's a little bit of struggling going on here compared to this side, but I think in large that's due to this monster of a plum tree. We have this in here, this little cage thing which I put in as a temporary solution kind of, but it's not really been working that great because some of these branches are coming down really low and they're actually touching this. So literally this is how low it goes. It's ridiculous how big this plum tree has gotten. And to not just get by this absolutely beautiful thing, we have plenty of plums in here, lots of goodies, lots of things to collect. My dad has been making a bunch of plum stuff at the moment. There's a bunch of plum jam and plum sauce and everything in the kitchen. There was a moment we weren't sure if this plum tree was actually going to survive because we had a lot of little like white dotty things, which I think we decided were spider mites. We got a bunch of neem oil, we sprayed this whole thing down, and it seems to have sorted a lot of the problem. We were worried that we was going to take out the entire tree. It's our first year having this tree properly. We moved in last year and we got here basically as the tree was like finishing its season and going dormant, so we didn't really have a chance to see it through the growing season, and now we're here, like this is our first proper year with it and we're still learning. But what it's been doing with this one down here is draping over it and allowing much less light to get through. There's another child. There she goes. Lixie. Hello. Okay, she's off. She's not interested in the camera. But despite that, we actually have quite a lot of good stuff going on in here. So I'm noticing one little random thing though. There's a little flower in here. You're not supposed to be there. No idea how that got there. That's fine. You can stay in there. But yeah, all in here. We've got our leeks growing in here, which are kind of going. They're a bit slow, but hopefully they'll be alright. And we have some lettuce in here as well, but it doesn't seem like the lettuce here has taken very well. We've got some okay ones at the front here, which we might be able to pick some from, but definitely not going as well as this side over here. I haven't picked from this for a while, so I think we'll grab some bits from this today just to kind of keep it flourishing and keep it going. What we'll actually do today is the carrots have been in here for 3 months now, so I'm going to pull one out and I'm going to see what it looks like, and I'm going to see if we have any carrots. What I read suggested that 3 months should be enough. But if we pull one out and there's nothing there, then I guess we'll leave it for a little bit longer. There's a puppy under here. This is her favourite spot to sleep. It's nice and cool under here, isn't it, child? Come give me your love. Come show the camera your pretty face. Yes. You good girl. Not feet for free. You're supposed to be looking at the puppy. If you looked at my feet, you owe me a subscribe. Do you want to help us get some carrots out? Ooh, the big stretch. Yes. Come on, little adventurer. Let's look at these. And now she helps us pick of the carrots. Let's have a look. Let's just grab one from the back, I think, and just have a look. I'm gonna grab it right down here. Oop, on your head. Mwah. Oh, she's just giving me kisses. Thank you. Let's grab the base for this one. Ready? Yeet. Do we have carrots? I mean, technically, yes. It's, what do you think? Is it a little bit small? Yeah. So, I mean, some of these, we've got one in here, we can see, like, you see the base of this one here. I'm kind of tempted to leave it a bit longer. But considering the size of this one, and I know this isn't very deep, so they're not going to be massive carrots, but I'm kind of tempted to just kind of leave these in here longer. I don't think it's going to do much if I put this back in the ground right now. That's probably not going to keep growing. The other ones, I can't really see anything in this. It's a bit of a mess. All my leeks kind of getting in the way. Hopefully the leeks are going to come up nice and strong. They're getting really tall now, but they're not really getting very chunky yet. We do have some spring onions right in the edge, which are kind of struggling a little bit, but hopefully they'll also grow up and be okay soon. The other thing I do want to do today though is we've been leaving our radishes. You might notice they are very crispy and crunchy now, and that's kind of the point. What we did is, because they bolted and they went to flower really early, we left them, and what we have now are these little pods. Let me get a nice cluster up here so you can have a good look at them. We have these pods here now which are nice and dried, and supposedly you can eat these fresh. Just pull them off when they're still green and you can just add them to salads. I don't really want to do that. I'm not saying I won't, I just didn't fancy it this time around. But what we do have now is a lot of seeds for next season. So what we'll do is we'll set the camera down somewhere and we'll pick off a bunch of these pods. We've got a whole bunch more down here as well. We have a lot to pick. And we're just going to put them in a little pot and shell them out, because in theory, let's just do one of them together. Let's just grab one little pod and we'll put it in here, and what we'll do, we'll just give this a little squeeze, see if I can do this one-handed, and what we should get is a bunch of these little seeds. So you see we actually have 4 little seeds just from this one pod alone, and what I'm going to do is we're going to take off a bunch of these, put them in this, and then we'll shell them all and see how many seeds we have. They're going to go in a little Ziploc bag and they're going to go for next season. I don't think I want to grow any more this season. It might be a little bit too late, it might be a little bit too hot, to be honest, but for right now we need to get our harvest done for these so that we can plant some more next year without buying any more seeds. So let me put the camera down and we'll get some pods off and we'll shell some together. Some of these are actually pretty fresh still, so we might need a few of these on here. What I might do is, I'm feeling brave, so let's grab some of these green ones and maybe I'll go and crunch on one later and we'll see if they're actually any good. They might be really bad, but we'll see. And there we have it, that's our little haul. Let's go take these into the kitchen, shell some of them out, and let's see how many seeds we have for next season. We have plenty more, by the way, on here. Like, actually I've missed a couple here, so let's grab these while I do this last bit. But we have plenty of other pods on this that are not yet ready to go. Like, we have all of these other ones down here that are still fresh and not quite ready to go. A bunch down here. We have some really big green ones over there. Some of those aren't ready to go yet, so we'll leave those on there a little bit longer. But as and when they do dry, we'll do the same as we have with these. We'll just pick them all off, and we're just keeping all of these as seeds for next season. We have a little buggo on one of these. I'm trying not to touch it with my hands because I don't know if he's a bad buggo or not. Probably not. He's probably just living his life. So this is the haul we ended up with today. We will take these green ones out separately because, as I say, supposedly you can eat these on their own, and I don't know, maybe I'm feeling adventurous enough to try and pop one in my gob. I don't know yet, but for right now what we're going to do is we're going to shell all of these and see how many we have. I actually need to go and get a separate thing that I can put the shells into, so let me go and grab something there and then we'll start de-shelling some of these. What we're going to do is we're going to grab some of these now. I have my little pot for my shells and we're just going to start breaking some of these apart and seeing how many seeds we can get out, because the more we can get now, the more we have available next season. So what we'll do, I think we'll drop the seeds into this pot and we'll put the empty shells in the other one. It'll be easier for us to see then, I think. We'll drop the shells in there, and then when there are no more shells left in this, we know we're done. So let's just get going on a few of these. We'll probably do a little time lapse, have some fun just shelling in the kitchen, shall we? As I'm opening some of these up, they are looking a little bit nasty inside. I'm not sure if maybe they've gone way too far. Like, there's another one down here that's not looking so great, but I'm wondering if maybe it's just because they've dried out so much. So what I think we'll do is, with some of these when they've gone too far, we'll just kind of put these into the bin pile, because we have plenty others. You see how many we have so far. Like, we're going to get a lot of seeds from these, so I don't mind if we lose a couple of them. There was one in there that looked a bit more like this, slightly fresher and not quite as dry as some of the other ones did. So let's say we compare these two. This one over here is definitely dry enough, but the other one is still on the slightly like yellowy orange side. So I tried to open one of those before and the seeds almost came out a little bit green. So I'm wondering if maybe this one's a little bit too early. It was a bit difficult to kind of peel this one apart, but we have plenty more others in here. So we're just going to go through and do the rest, and I'll see you on the other side once we have a whole pot of seeds. In case you were wondering, by the way, what the insides of one of these pods looks like, it's really interesting. It's kind of like, it's not quite fully like spider webby, but it's almost giving that same energy. You pop it open and these seeds just being held in here, just by these little like papery bits, and you just sort of scoop them out and there we go. Pull off this other side here, we can have a look on the inside of it properly to get these seeds out. Some of these have got up to 10 seeds in them. Some of them are completely unusable. I don't know, it was just interesting. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you in case anybody was curious what one of these looks like on the inside. And there we have it. We have all of our shells officially off. And this is what they're going to look like once we've cleaned them up. We're going to have a whole bunch of these in here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through and we're just going to clean all the little crappy kind of bits off the side, like the little bits of shell and stuff that's stuck. We're going to get all of those out, put these in a little Ziploc bag, and we'll see how many we have at the end. This is all from 2 plants, by the way. Let me add that. We only let 2 plants go to seed, and this is what we have, knowing we still have pods left to shell. So we've got plenty of seeds for the next season. All you really need to do is let 1 or 2 of your radish plants go to seed, and this is what you end up with. So it's definitely worth doing. If they've already bolted, is leave a couple of them on there and any set for next season. Now let's see, am I feeling brave enough to try one of these? I guess there's only one way to find out. I mean, it's not bad. Despite what my face might say, it's actually not bad. I just wasn't sure what to expect. It's actually slightly peppery. Really interesting. You don't get that until the very end. It's super, super crunchy. And then by the end of it, you get this like peppery note. And now I understand why people would put these in salads, because the crunch is really nice. I was a little bit skeptical because I'm like seeing the insides of how some of these came out and I'm like, they're like dusty in there. But when they're fresh, oh my God, am I gonna go for another one? I am. I couldn't eat a lot of those. That's actually not bad. That's actually not bad. I don't know, I only saw one person eat these in a video and he went, you can eat them. And I'm like, oh yeah, you sounded so convincing. If I get sick, I guess I'll update you later in the video. I'm recording this over the course of a couple of days. So if for whatever reason something happens and I get food poisoning because I've eaten radish pods, then I guess I'll let you know not to do it. But for right now, they're not actually that bad. So the next job I want to get done today is the squash. I want to get in here and cut this flower out. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this here, because I can already see it wilting and it's only been a couple of hours since I showed you this earlier on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it down here. And it will make sense in a minute why. I'm going to try and replicate what I saw Red Leaf Ranch do. So what we're going to do, I've got my little sewing scissors here. I know it's not ideal, but they're very delicate, so it's going to be better for what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to start by cutting off these little green bits. There we go, so that's all of those off. So we want this piece in the middle available, and what he did was he cut the petals off at the bottom, but left the rest of it intact. All the way around. And now we have just this little bit here, and in theory we should be able to use this to go and pollinate our female flower. We'll deal with the rest of it later. This has already started closing as well, so we've got to be quick. Hello? Anybody home? No, nothing in there. No little bees. We're good. So we're just going to get in here and we're just going to tickle, tickle, tickle and get all that pollen all up in there. I'm hoping that works. Because this was blooming this morning. It's not right now, but it was earlier on, so hopefully that's enough to help. I'm hoping that the bees are going to do a good enough job on their own to be able to do it, but it would seem that we've not got anything fruiting just yet, so let's see whether or not doing that manually actually helps at all. And I guess I'll update you in a couple of weeks' time to see if anything actually happened. We're going to start the maintenance portion of this video now. We're going to go around and do the little jobs, including pulling out these poor broccoli plants. These ones were done for anyway, as we said. And this guy over here, he's not getting any bigger anytime soon. So I think what I basically just want to do is just kind of grab it at the base and rip it out, I guess. Ta-da! Not as big of a root system as I expected to see, but also not too bad. So we're just going to take these out. Oh, this one's a little bit deeper. Whoa, look at that. You can come up as well, little one. Look at this. It's got barely any roots on him at all. He tried. And if I had a compost heap, they would be going onto there, but At the moment our compost bin is all the way over there in that corner underneath the tree, and it's not ideal. It's been home to, I think they're called slow worms, I'm not sure what they're called, it looks like little snaky things, and it's had a lot of maggots and stuff in that, and I don't really want to use that particular pot that's over there right now. We will try and do that next year I think, but we want to get a new proper compost bin for it rather than just a hole in the floor. And then what we'll do with the soil is I'll probably use this again next season, but I'll rotate what's in there, so we won't do broccoli in there next time. I'll just probably just kind of leave them where they are for right now, and then we'll deal with where this is going to go next time. But this soil is still probably good. We can use this again next season, so I'm not too worried about that. But that's one job jobbed. Let's go and do the rest. I think what we want to do next is we want to go and deal with the weed problem in the back. So I'm going to go get my tools and I'll see you over there. Alrighty, the next job we have to job is the feed. We've got a bunch of plants that are out in the garden that are hungry as hell. So we are using this Vitax tomato feed, high potash fertilizer for bumper crops of juicy tomatoes. And essentially, what I have to do is mix it with some water. So for grab bags it says from planting out, feed twice a week with 1 litre of diluted feed per bag, gradually increasing to 4 litres of diluted feed per week after the first truss is set. And the outdoor tomato says 2 litres of diluted feed per plant every 7 days, rising to once every 3 days after the second truss is set. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm doing 2 litres of diluted feed per plant every 7 days. We've not done them any more often than that, but I don't know that it needs it. We can always up that, but for right now it seems to be doing well enough for a lot of my plants. And I don't just use this for tomatoes, I've been using this for pretty much a lot of the other plants that we have in the garden. So the NPK rating we have for this is 4 to 6. So it's 4% nitrogen, 2% phosphorus and 6% potassium. So this is, it's not particularly strong. It's not entirely fully balanced like a 444 would be, but it seems to be working well enough. A lot of the things I've read have said the tomato feed is just good in general because it's not as strong as certain other fertilizers are, and it's also not hugely imbalanced. I don't really know what that means exactly. All I know is I don't put it in with my salad bowl because I read that it's not going to go well with the things I have in there. This brand being Vitax, we are using Vitax Q4 in a lot of the other plants as well. So same brand, and hopefully it's going to work well together. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a few of these up. We've got our handy dandy watering can over here that we're going to be using to fill up. We're doing 1 capful of this to 5 litres of water, and we're going to be doing a few trips of this, so I'm not going to film everything, but you're going to see a couple of little trips. Let's do the first one together and then everything will just be done like magic. So this is our pepper and aubergine situation out here, and we're doing pretty well, all things considered. This guy is kind of leaning a little bit, he's a little bit heavy, so I might need to get in there and get the stick in a little bit better. There's 2 plants in that and it looks like 1, but I will sort that out later. But I've got some really nice ones in here. Some of them are starting to change colour. We have quite a lot of them in there, so we need to get in here and pull some of these out later. And as for our aubergines, if we pull this back in here, we have one massive one in here. Look at the size of this. It's humongous. and it's ready to come off, so we're going to be harvesting this one today. We do have at least one more plant, if I can find out where he is. Just a little guy right now, make sure he has enough room to grow. That one's coming up, and I think I saw a third one somewhere, just a little tiny baby one. One of the plants unfortunately did have a little bit of an accident recently. That wooden pallet fell on top of it and the plant snapped. So sadly, that's what some of these leaves are down here. I've been meaning to throw them out and I've been forgetting, but they did break the entire plant right the way down the bottom, so one less opportunity for aubergines, but we're getting at least 3, I would say, and that's not too bad, all things considered. So I'm going to get some feed into these plants here, and then we're going to come back out here later and finish the harvest. We have just a couple more bits of maintenance to do out here today, and one of those things we need to do is refill the bird feeder. So it lives up here just above our tomatoes, and it took a little while for them to take to it, but it is now completely empty. So we need to get this down and we need to fill it with some more, so let me grab it down. Mostly what I've seen in here are robins, and I have one terrible little video which I can probably add into this video. But what we're going to do, we're just going to pop this open like this. This is Peckish, and it's the same brand as the suet cakes that we use. I know literally nothing about bird feed. This was very much a trial and error for the first year, and they're just these chunks, these little chunklets, little suet cakes, and we just pop one into here, and there goes. And I'm just going to pop the lid back on that and hang that back up. And as I say, I've only ever actually seen it used once. But given the fact that my tomatoes are constantly covered in this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and guess that they're actually being used. So I am very, very happy about that. I am worried, because it's been a couple of days since it's been empty, that the birds are going to be like, oh god, the food source is gone and we're never going to come back now. Hopefully we'll get a couple of these little guys. We have seen ones that look similar to this, so hopefully we get some more soon. I will let you know if ever I get any more birds in the feeder. I'll take a little video and I'll show you guys later. But one more thing that we need to do today, so let's go put this back inside, and then we're going to go and plant some leeks which desperately need to go out. They've been growing in my kitchen for a while and they desperately need to be transplanted, so we are going to use one of the old broccoli bags over here, just these ones over here. So let me go and get my gloves and we'll plant some leeks. These are the leeks which I was talking about, which we need to transplant, and as you can tell, they have seen better days, honestly. They've been in this for way too long. They're still going. I've been watering them, they're doing alright, but they are definitely ready for a new home. And there we go. They're just placed in with a little bit of mulch from the broccoli plant, just kind of around. Nothing too bad. Let me just make sure I've not buried the tops of any of these. It's probably going to take a few days for these to ping back. That's what happened with the last ones I put in. I really thought they were going to die. Gave them good watering and let them settle in for a few days, and they ended up being okay. So I'm going to give these a nice good solid water and let them settle for a few days. We're going to leave that to it. Now it's time for the bit you've probably been waiting for, and I've been yapping way too much, and that is the plentiful harvest. So let me go and get a fancy bowl and see what we can collect. Oh my gosh, look at the size of her. I came out here to see if we had any beans ready to collect, and not only do we have one, because it has been a couple of days since I actually recorded this, but I did actually notice that I wanted to show you guys. I was just looking under here. We have our first baby squash, guys. Look at it. I'm going to have to get something underneath this so it holds it up off of the soil, because I don't want this sitting on the wet soil. But we've got one, guys. This lettuce has seen better days, but I think we should be able to get a few bits off of this. I haven't been collecting much from it recently because I've just not been well, so I've not been using it, and I'm wondering if that's had a bit of an issue with how the rest of the plant is growing,
I actually just pulled that one out by its root. I tried to snap it off there and I messed that up. I'm sorry. I think they might be coming towards the end. So we're just going to get off a few of these, whatever it is that we can find today. I think looking at it, what's happened is I think this is actually bolted and it's gone really tall. Like, this lettuce should not be this far out of the soil, so I think it's gotten really hot and it's actually bolted, and this might be the end of it, but it's okay. We got a few of these off, not a lot. Oh, it looks like one of these in here has been slightly ravaged, so we're not going to take this one for us. We'll just go and get rid of this one. Not sure what's happened to him, but we'll take it off anyway. Oh no, it's got a problem on the bottom of it. Oh, that's savage. We'll have to have a look at that inside and see exactly what that is. Maybe it's still salvageable and usable. I also decided to come and have a look and see if any of these sweet corns are ready, because we have plenty of these guys. We've got this one in here, we have more in here, and as you'll see I have one in my hand which is looking a little worse for wear on the top, but the bottom half is looking fine. And we did the nail prick test, which is you poke one of the kernels, and if the liquid that comes out is like a milky liquid, I think we're actually ready to go. So I'm going to pull a couple of these off. I think the top half, it's gone too far. It looks kind of like dried up, like it's been on there for too long, and I don't want to lose any more of these if it has been too long. So we're going to pull a couple of these off, and then we'll find out how to get the rest of these actually peeled off of this. I think all we have to do is just get a knife and just cut all the way down, and it will be fine, and it will just come off like that. So I guess let's pull a couple off and see if we can get some sweet corn ready. Y'all, look at this. We have so much good shit in this, and I am actually so excited. I did pick one extra sweet corn from that plant right behind the tree that you can't see, all the way back there, which is actually my dad's sweet corn plant. It is different to these kinds here. This one is a different one. I have no idea what this is going to look like inside, but I want to go and see if it's ready. We've got an abundance of salad tomatoes, a couple of beans that were ready. We'll shell those and put them with the rest. A couple of beef tomatoes here. This one has a little bit of a thing on the bottom of it. Hopefully it's going to be okay, but we'll have a look. Then we've got a whole bunch of lettuce, which we'll clean up. We have a couple of peppers. I'm not taking too many of them because we have so many on the plant, and I want to leave some of them to start turning colour. And then we have the big aubergine back here. This is massive. And then I just pulled off 3 cobs from that plant over there and one from over there to go and see if it's ready, and I'm so excited. Look at this. To quote my favourite Instagram at the moment, Red Leaf Ranch, abundance. Oh my god, I'm so excited. We are going to have a look at maybe making something up with this. If I film it, I film it. It'll be at the end of this video. If I don't, then I guess I'll see you next time there is another big harvest. If you guys have been enjoying this video and the series so far, I really would appreciate you letting me know just what you've liked about it and what you would like to see. We are definitely going to be doing more of this next season, and I have learned a lot from all this. But overall, I am so proud of how this has come out and how we've done this year. For right now, I'm going to go and think of a nice tasty meal I can do with this. I did not end up filming any of the cooking, but I did take some photos along the way of our prep and what the meals look like in the end. We used a lot of the bits from the garden to make some halloumi wraps. We used some of the fresh corn, some fresh pepper, and some of the tomatoes for the salad. And then we made a panzanella salad with some of the cherry tomatoes and another pepper from the garden, and that big aubergine which we chucked in the oven and roasted. I'm looking forward to when our squashes grow up. We have some more aubergines going, some more peppers, so hopefully down the line we'll be able to use even more fresh ingredients, and it was really exciting. I really appreciate you guys being here for the journey. Thank you so much for hanging out while we've been doing a lot of experiments this year, and if there's anything else you want to see before the year is over, let me know. We do have some more houseplants which aren't used, so if you want to meet them, I can do a little video on that, and as we have more harvests, I'll be able to show you. The garden is looking great, even if the weather is not. So thank you again for being here, and I will see you in the next one, friends. Remember, it's always tea time somewhere in the world. Bye bye.